You are now listening to the Brothers and Lovers Podcast. Welcome. Come on. Stand up, rise up, rise. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite. Cause they gonna fight.
Shall I stand by my brother's side? If he wrong, I should tell him why. Enter battle, we shall ride. Let the world feel our battle cry.
Stand up, rise up, rise. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite. Cause they gonna fight. Stand up, rise up. What you gonna do about it? Get your mind up. How you gonna move about it? Get your shoulders right. And you get right to it, and we unite.
Yes. Welcome. I go by the name of City. I would like to welcome you to Brothers and Lovers Podcast, episode 18, where I ask my panel of brothers to bring their love for their children. Our love for our community and our love for our families, mix it with some passion, sprinkle some facts to the uncomfortable conversations. Tonight, we're down a brother Larry, he's sick. Shout out to brother Larry. But tonight on my panel, I got my brother Ron.
Well, what's going on, man? First and foremost, it's good to be here. As I always say, missing our brother Larry, wishing him a speedy recovery. Looking forward to doing a great show tonight, brother.
Yes. I also got my brother Harvey.
Greetings, grace, peace, and blessings. And once again, we pray that Brother Larry gets well real soon. And, yo, man, like always, I'm glad to be here. Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right. Tonight's topic I want to bring to this panel, well, I want to ask my brothers is, why don't men show love to other men? Why is it so taboo just to show a brother some love? Just like, hey, brother, I see you doing good. Keep doing your thing. Let's keep it moving. Before we get into the conversation, I want to let everybody, make sure everybody hit that like, hit that share. Let's get it going like that. So let's open up the conversation. I go with my brother Ron. Brother Ron, why do you feel like we don't show love to each other nowadays?
Well, let's get into, man, we're either accused of, if we're not showing love, then are we showing hate? You know what I'm saying? So what is it? Are we hating? Because we got to do one of the two unless you're just indifferent. And I choose to believe that most people aren't indifferent about, these types of situations. You're either showing love about a situation or to a brother, or you're showing hate. And, that would be my first question,
You might pull over so I could do.
Brother Harvey, there, you got a little.
Oh. I'm sorry about that. Sorry.
Oh, I thought Harvey was saying something. But yeah.
I thought go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, but that's the first thing. I mean, are we showing love? Are we showing hate? I mean, personally, to me, it's always one of the two. And unfortunately, it does seem like a lot of times there's more hate than love.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say hate, I mean, I'm not even talking about a strong dislike. I'm just talking about that negative energy, that negative disposition that people tend to throw out there when it comes to other brothers. We don't just say, hey, man, that guy's doing well, man. It's like, oh, man, he didn't start that business. Oh, man, there's still some negativity out there. So that's what I don't get.
Brother Hart, what about you? Why do you think we don't show each other love?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to pull over because I need to get into this. You feel me? I really need to get in.
Okay.
Hold up. No, I'm serious. I'm pulling over because we need to get into this. Real quick,
Okay.
Because hold on. Okay. Now let me say this. Okay. Wait. Wait. Can you put my camera on? Put my camera on.
Put my
camera on. I need to.
Where the producer at? The producer. Man, that something to say. Stop traffic, man. Put him on, though.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
All right, there we go. All right, listen, I'm driving, but I had to pull over for this one. And
Okay.
the reason why, because, all right, so here's the deal. I think this is what I believe.
Okay.
Part of the reason why we don't show each other love was because we were taught how not to show each other love. We've been taught that love is homophobic. We've been taught that togetherness is not manly. And so therefore, we end up interacting with each other in this real unnatural, quote unquote, manly way. But the reality is, it ain't manly.
It's
Because
not.
if I can't tell you that I love you, if I can't lift you up, then what I'm doing is I'm contributing to the demise of my own community.
Mm-hmm.
So it would benefit somebody else for us to live in that place of, oh, you know what? I can't show you love. It benefits somebody else when every time I see my brother, it's about competition. Because it's not about competing. None of us have to compete. All we have to do is contribute. And so therefore, yeah, man. So this is my concern. My concern is that I agree that we need to show each other love. And we need to dispel that craziness that other people call manliness. Because that manliness for them is contributing to our demise. And on that, I yield.
Okay. So you believe that we would be programmed to hate, well, not hate each other, but show each other hate instead of love, because love will build us, right?
You know, and it's
I'm not saying hate. I'm saying division.
Division. Okay.
We show each other division because that division creates displacement, and that displacement creates that thing where that machismo thing where it goes in conjunction with suck it up. It's like men's not supposed to cry. Men are not supposed to. The same way I say men not supposed to cry. Men ain't supposed to love like that. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. That's what I'm saying. And on that, I yield.
Okay. Go ahead, Brother Ron.
Nah, yeah, and the thing is, unfortunately, it's more acceptable to do anything other than talk about love. If you're talking negatively about somebody or a situation, it can be seen as humorous. Oh man, you crazy, man. But nobody's gonna, say anything bad about you. But if you say, man, I love that brother, man, that's a good dude. What you mean you love that dude, man? And I think things are getting better, but there was a lot of tension by using even the term love. Let's just think about when we were naming this podcast. There was some heat, not heat, but there was a lot of discussion, as far as brothers and lovers. Like, whoa, what is that about? Yo, what are we talking about here? What kind of show are we trying to do? I just remember that it wasn't just an easy call, and I think even though we were trying to do something positive, we were concerned with the potential backlash, the potential taking it the wrong way, all the negative things that could come about, a group of brothers naming a podcast Brothers and Lovers. You know what I mean? So, I think we're also subject to the same forces that Brother Hall was speaking on. With that, I yield.
Okay. No, it's true. All right, I get a lot of backlash a lot because I love it. Well, I always tell anybody that's in my circle, anybody I care about, I love, man or woman. I'm like, hey, before I leave, I'm like, hey, I love you, be safe. That's always my thing. Because I come from a family that I could say my father, he wasn't expressing of love. He wasn't, hey, I love you, son. He wasn't that type of man. But I do this because I feel this world doesn't have enough love. You see what I'm saying? And when I do that, a lot of people do look at me and side like, hold on. Yeah, bro, I love you too. Like, it's what I'm trying to, I guess what I'm asking is, if we understand that this world, like we need to group together. We need to show love to each other and all this. Why are we still not doing it though? Why is it still so taboo to be, for when somebody does do it?
Hey, yo, D, I want to say something to that.
Go ahead.
It's just like, you know how you said, check this out. You just said something in your conversation. You just said, hey, bro, I love you. Not I love you.
Okay.
Now, why is that important? Because that's our program. We again, even in our daily conversation, it goes back down to we tell our brothers, I love you. I love yo. If we say I love you, it don't come out I love you. It comes out I love you.
Okay.
You instead of the me.
Yeah. Okay.
You feel me? And so again, because it goes back down to that stigma, that thing of love creating a sense of vulnerability. See, when we think of love, we think of softness, we think of gentleness. We equate love with a romantic interest. You know what I'm saying? Or we consider love from a parental place or a brotherly place.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, one of the very first things we talked about in regards to love, having that kind of love, what is it called? Agape love. There was 5 loves that we talked about.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was one of the first ones that I had.
Yeah, the love show. I think episode 4 or 5. Yeah.
You're right. But see, the whole deal is we need to go back to that. There's that brotherly love, that we have for each other, that we need to allow ourselves to feel and be vulnerable with. See, I think for me, vulnerability is key. We don't allow ourselves to be vulnerable because we were taught not to be vulnerable. And that's where the disconnect and the confusion comes in. And
But,
on that, I yield.
Okay, I do understand that, but a like and a click also is love too, like showing love. Like we don't show love like that. Like we would show love to somebody famous, somebody, let's just go off of like we did last show, Kanye. At the one point, Kanye got so much love from our community, and he, you know what I mean? Like he couldn't do no wrong. He was like, oh my goodness, this is a genius, da-da-da. But you wouldn't show somebody who you see every day, somebody who you actually grew up with and actually, I could say you could start it to build with, you know what I mean? Like make something happen with, but you can't tell him you love him or show him any type of love. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because love is not only just saying love, it's also doing stuff. Like, let's just say, I know you down or something like that. I could just sit there and talk to you for a couple seconds. You know what I mean? Like, and just to cheer you up. Like, that's type of love as well. And we don't even do that. Like, we do I believe, like, we do no type of love to, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's automatically, we can't go that way. You know what I mean? That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But check this out. My question is this. When we see an artist or somebody in power and we show love to them, are we really showing them love, or are we hoping that at some point they'll see our love and put us on? That's what I'm saying? See, because sometimes what we interpret as love is not, sometimes people do what they do because they're motivated, because they have their own agenda in their doing what they're doing. It's like somebody who may not particularly care for you, they'll talk with you because you got something that they need. That ain't love.
No.
Right? So therefore, when we start talking about love, we're talking about giving to a person without an agenda. We're giving to them because that's just our natural nature to give. Or even if it's not our natural nature, we practice giving love in a way. I'm trying to say it in the proper way. We practice giving love because it's a way of giving. It's not selfish. I'm not taking when I'm talking about love. And my love is not motivated by what I can get from you. My love is motivated because I want to add to your life. I want to give quality to your life. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And all too often, when we think of love, we think about taking. We're not thinking about giving. If you know what I mean. And on that, I yield.
I do agree with you with that. Brother Ron, you want to say something on that?
Yeah, I guess we got to really get down to, you know, when you're saying showing love, I guess we got to talk about what do we mean, you know, the absence of hate, an appreciation. I mean, because sometimes we just don't even have an appreciation for somebody else as an individual, as a person, or for whatever they're doing. You know, and I think, gosh, just to start there, just to show that, man, you know, what you're doing is positive, man. And even if I disagree with it, you know, I still appreciate what you're trying to do, what you're standing for, you know, what what you're bringing to the table. And then someone will say, well, that's showing love, showing love. Now, just because we disagree with somebody doesn't mean that we're not showing love. We're free to have our own opinion. To me, I'm talking about beyond the absence of appreciation. I'm talking about when you're tearing something down or tearing an individual down, trying to keep them from progressing, you know, that kind of thing. More of the crabs in the barrel type of mentality. And I think we do see that way too often.
But hold on before you even. But doesn't that usually come with the love that we give each other? Like you probably said, you're like, yeah, that's a cool business. But then on the flip side, you're like, well, that ain't gonna really last too long, or you know what I mean? Like it's a given. It goes hand in hand nowadays with us. Why is that though?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'll yield to you.
No. Go ahead, Brother Roddy, because I'm gonna speak to both of those. Go ahead, finish your thought.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, you know, a lot of times I think when you talked about Kanye, it's easier for someone to show admiration for another person that's removed, like so far removed that you're not even on the same level versus a guy you went to high school with or a guy from your block. You know, it's those guys you tend to want to find something wrong with it, you know, versus someone that you're not attached to in any way, shape, or form. And to me, I think that deals with our own insecurities, our own issues that we don't address, you know. So I think that's what we see more often than not. For instance, I'm in my business. I'm sure in each and every one of us that have businesses, you recognize that sometimes the people that are closest to you won't utilize your service.
Yeah.
You know, they know, but they'll go and utilize somebody else's service that they know nothing about.
Yeah.
So they'll go and utilize that service, you know, and then sometimes they'll hit you with, "Oh man, I didn't realize you did that," you know, or when they knew, you know, and then, you know, they knew. So I think, but you know, I think that's the same thing that when it comes to the music, when you're talking about Kanye, that's or someone else that's so far removed from them that they can easily support that individual versus somebody local, somebody that they know, because then it shows, to me, it's almost like they have to deal with their own lack of getting to the place that they should be or where they think they should be in them. That's how I yield.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I want to say, first of all, I want to speak to this, Brother Rod. The opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference.
Okay.
If you understand what I mean. See, because if you love somebody or you hate them, it's still evoking some type of emotion. When you are, the opposite of that is when some person can evoke any kind of emotion, or you have no emotion for something, and it doesn't matter whether it exists or not. That is the opposite of love. Now, when we start talking
wait
about...
Wait a minute. I can't rock with you on that. So hold on. So let's look at it like this. If you're saying that love is at one end of the football field and the opposite end of the football field would be hate, indifference to me would be at the 50. You follow me?
Nah, brother. And the reason why I say that is because when you... It's just like if a roach made you mad, you kill it. If a roach made loved you, not say mad. If you were indifferent to a roach, you kill it, right? But if you had some feelings for that roach, you wouldn't kill it. You let it go or do something, right?
No, if I was indifferent, I would let it live.
But
But
that's
if
what
I
I'm saying.
hated it, I would stomp it.
Why would you stop it? So and that's see to me in my thinking and in my learning, I learned that and this is from going through therapy. I was taught that the opposite of love is indifference. See, because
Oh, yeah.
anything that creates, see, you
And
gotta
emotion.
understand an emotion. If it creates an emotion, and you gotta understand, love is a second feeling, like hate is a second feeling. There are other things that come before love, and there's other things that come before hate. And so, therefore, for you to have some type of emotion toward it, whether it be love or hate, comfort or discomfort, those are all emotions. So they still run in the realm of emotion. When you're indifferent to something, there is no emotion. There's no
Right.
even thought about it.
Right.
So
I agree with that, but I still, we just see it differently. That's all, because I look at it on a spectrum, and you know, if things are to be opposite, they got to be on different ends of the spectrum. One's over here and one's over here. But but I want to hear the rest of your point anyway. So, I'm sorry for interrupting.
But no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. And so, therefore, when we start talking about, hating something or people hating on us, what I feel, what my experience is, are they really hating on us, or are they hating on the fact because every time they see you, you remind them of how far they have not come. You remind them that, you know what, I'm not where you, and you said it earlier, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And so, therefore, I'm going to hate on you, because if I hate on you, that allows me to disconnect my emotions to my own experience. Does that make sense?
I agree with you 1,000%, because and that's why I said that person who's not from my block, not from my neighborhood, his or her getting that level or that measure of success, I can't compare it to me, because we didn't start off at the same place. They started off, with something else. He started off in Chicago. I'm in North Carolina, so it's easier to make it if you're in Chicago. So he has other opportunities. But if I'm talking to my brother who went to the same high school as I did here in North Carolina, and despite whatever challenges that we both faced, he seemed to have triumphed and overcome those issues, then it causes me to have to look inwardly and see, well, what's my excuse? What's the reason that I haven't progressed to where I should be at this point? And so, therefore, I got to bring him back a little bit. Yeah, he made it there, but his mom gave him a $10,000 loan to get started. Or he got all this money from the hustle game. He was out there selling dope. Or nah, man, he really ain't doing it like that. He got y'all believing that. Taking something away from somebody else's own success. And I think we do, and I don't think it's intentional oftentimes. That's the thing we really got to get into. I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just a coping mechanism, and it leads to you not having to address the real elephant in the room, which is, what's your excuse? You get nothing from hating on that man. Address your own issues. Why aren't you where you think you should be, and what do you intend to do about
Okay. This is that's exactly where I was gonna go next. Do y'all think it was people hate because they measure themselves up to them to the person that they're showing the negative energy towards? So that's okay.
Hey, I like to speak to that. I like
go.
So here's the thing: it's not our responsibility to measure up to somebody else's situation.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why that is because we all have different paths, different approaches.
You're right.
The question becomes, am I being the best version of me? In fact, I'm going to take it a step further. Do I even have an idea what the best version of me should look like?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because all too often, we grow up being compared to other people, and it may have been our mothers, the fathers. You should be more like that person. I knew I grew up like that. My mom used to, and she still does it to my brother sometimes. And it annoys me. When my mom's be like, yo, you need to be like this person. You need to be like that person. Man, that used to annoy me. And I'm gonna tell you something. What it would do was create resentment between me and that person and anything that they represented. Even what they were doing was good, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. Why? Because you trying to make me be somebody else. I don't want to be somebody else. I need to be me. And so therefore, for me growing up, it's just like, you know what? I'm not gonna let you compare me. I'm gonna find my own way. And if that means I gotta bump my head a whole lot of time, it's okay. I'm gonna bump my head, but I'm gonna figure out my own way. You know what? And quite frankly, yeah, I was stubborn, but it benefited me because what it taught me, and I'm not encouraging anybody else to do this. I'm just saying this is my role. It encouraged me to find my own path. It encouraged me to ask those questions. Who am I? What do I want? What do I need? Can I even articulate it? Can I be happy? Because if I can't be happy with myself, how in the world am I going to teach somebody else how to treat me if I don't treat myself? And on that, I yield.
Okay, you're speaking about that. Oh, this is a good opening up. Basically, what is wrong with friendly competition? I have friendly competition. Like, all right, me and my brothers, we all do different things, but we come from a house. At least I look at it like we all have friendly competitions amongst each other. Meaning, I want my brother to be the best at what he does, but him making sure he's being the best also falls on me and make sure I'm being the best in my lane. You know what I mean? So,
I want to add to that. Let me tell you something. See, because I have 6 brothers, well, 5 brothers now and 1 sister. I don't compete with my brothers, and I don't allow my brothers and sisters to compete with me. My brother, let me tell you something. My brother Tariq, he has his own set of skills. He has his own thing. And when I tell you, he's phenomenal in what he does. He's phenomenal in what he does. You know what I'm saying? I mean, by far, he's got many, many talents. But his talents are his talents. My talents are my talents.
Sure.
You understand? And so therefore, why should I compare him when I can just appreciate his journey?
No,
why should he have to compare? You know what I'm saying?
No, and I get that. Go. My fault.
No, but see, understand something. Now, if I'm encouraging you, and I'm not gonna say push you, but if I'm encouraging you to be the best version of you, I don't have to compete with you. Because guess what? Your talents are gonna contribute with my talents, and therefore that makes the biggest shift. That's all I'm saying. And on that, I yield.
Okay. So, all right, it's not compete. Let's just push, but being pushed to make sure you're the best and making sure you on your game is always works out for everybody. You don't think so? I think that makes everybody just that much better. If I'm pushing my brother to be the best him, and he's pushing me to be the best me, you know what I mean? And we have 2 different talents, but he knows, okay, this is what I see in your talent. I see people like this. I know you could pass this level, but are you doing this? Are you doing that? You know, it's like checking my checklist for me and making sure I'm checking it.
You know, I want to share this with you because this gets to, what you call a friendly competition, being pushed, being encouraged. Brother said to me when I first started my law practice, he was also a lawyer. And he said, Ron, I want you to do well. He said, I want you to do well. And my reasons are totally selfish. He said, I am totally selfish in my reasons. He said, I want you to do well because if you're not doing well, then you can't help me. You know what I'm saying? You can't help me, when I need help. So I need you to go out there and I need you to knock it out the park and do well so that in the event that I need some assistance, you're able to help me. And he said it and he was joking, but he was serious. And if you think about it, if we all tend to look at it that way, then we would truly benefit from our people close to us in our circle, whether it's your biological brother or your brother down the street that's just, you're together in the struggle. When they're doing well, then we all can do well. And for that selfish reason, if we're ever in need, then they can help you, because you don't, it does you no good for if Alonzo's in a situation and he goes to off city and he says, well, can you help me out? He say, man, oh man, I can't, man. I would love to do it, but I'm struggling right now myself. Nobody wins. But if he's doing good, he can help his brother. So when the brother said that to me, when I started my practice, over 18 years ago, I took it to heart, and I look at it just saying, and I look at my other friends in the struggle the same way. I need everyone to excel, not just in my area, but in all areas. I need somebody to have some political clout. I need somebody who knows how to get things done in every aspect of our society, so that when I'm in need, they can help me. And so even though it's selfish, is a good way to look at it. So when they say, when you win, we all win, to me, that's what it means.
Yeah, that's the building a nation. That's the building of a nation, the strong nation. Everybody's strong. No weak links.
Can I add to this? See, I agree with Brother Rod. And here's the thing. What Brother Rod talked about is not competition. Because think about this. When you compete, there's got to be a number one. And that's if there's two people in the race. When you compete, there's got to be a winner and a loser. You understand?
Yeah.
But when you're encouraging, everybody wins. And so where we are in our community, we need to be in a space of understanding that when you win, I win. And I appreciate Brother Bob for that. See, so there is, from that place, there's no competition, because if we're competing, then that means I'm striving to win, which means I'm also subconsciously trying to make you lose. So if for example, if we're competing and I have something that you need so that you would win, I'm gonna see to it that you ain't getting it.
Okay.
You understand that? Because that's what competitors do. Competitors, they win, but they keep the other folks from winning. That's why when I was doing a business class, and they would always use the term competitor. I hated that term. Why? Because everybody's not my competitor. Everybody has their own thing that they contribute, and a brother might do this well, and I do this well, or a sister might do this well, and I do this well. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't need to beat you to win. If you're eating and I'm eating, then we both win. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So thank you, Brother Rod. And on that, I yield.
Okay, so why do you think that's not a part of our community then? That mindset.
I think it's just like Harvey just said, though, is that we don't recognize that we can truly all be on the same team for the most part. We don't have to be in competition with everybody. Now, there's going to be some people that you are in competition with, and for in some regards, you may be going after the same contracts or something, but in many regards, we can all win. We can all be on the same team. We can eat together. We can work together. We can play together. You don't have to be in competition. And once we realize that, when Star City Cleaning blows up, then I win. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I can, somebody that I know may need employment, or whatever the case may be. I may need a loan, or I may need to learn something from you. So I think once we start realizing that, we don't have to be in competition. We can all win. When our brother wins, then I think we're better. We're all better for it. But if all of us are struggling, then nobody can help any of us. We can't excel. We can't grow. We can't get to where we need to get, because we're still trying to come out of the starting blocks. And I think that's what's been holding us back for a long time. That we tend to identify with each other as competitors, opposed to recognizing that, that's not the competition. The competition is that person who's trying to pull you down. And if we're all trying to push each other up and encourage, then we're not in competition with each other.
Okay. Brother, you wanna?
Brother Ron, I just want to say this. To speak to that. To me, competition is the tool of the enemy that keeps us divided. That's as far as I'm concerned. And other people might say, "Oh no, that's not the case." But here's the thing: if there's competition, that means that there's separation. There's a you and a me. If we're all winning, that means that there's a us. And Brother Ron, I want to speak to that thing of contracts. If we're competing for the same contract, right? And just say, for example, I win that contract. If I want to expand my business, I'm gonna put you on. I mean, so long as you about helping me win, as I'm about helping you win. Because if I put you on, then guess what? There's two organizations that's meeting the same goal. That goes back to what I was talking about before. Placing principle before personality. You understand what I'm saying? So therefore, if I'm putting you on, I'm expanding my business, and so are you. So that means that, if we're working and creating win-win situations, you win a contract, you put me on. I win a contract, I put you on. We all win. Bottom line. And on that, I use.
But the problem has been, though, that oftentimes that hasn't been reciprocated. So we tend to build up defense mechanisms because it's like, man, I'll give you an example, man. Simple wood. I remember one of the first brand new car that I bought, me and my boy had been talking about buying this car. It was Forerunner. This is back in the days, 1997. Wanted a Forerunner. He was talking about it. I was talking about it. We talked about when we graduated, we was going to get it. Well, I happened to get one. And I told him about it. I said, yo, man, I picked up that truck last night, man. You got to check it out. So he said, cool. So we went to the parking lot. And my truck is dead center as soon as you come out the door. It's brand new. He's looking all around the parking lot for an old one. He's looking for one that's about 4 or 5 years old. And he's looking past the new one. And he was like, man, I don't see your truck. I was like, yo, it's right here in front of me. That's my truck. And his whole disposition changed. It was kind of like, oh, so you got that truck. He couldn't be happy for me because he felt that I had achieved something that he had. And my point is, we have to recognize that we don't have to be in competition with each other. But because then I recognized that he felt some kind of way, we could never do business together again. We weren't the same. Our relationship kind of changed after that because I began to see him in a different light. I thought before that we were on the same team. I thought we were both working and encouraging each other. But then I realized that because his whole attitude changed, that we weren't on the same team. And I tell that story because I believe that that's what happens oftentimes in our relationship with people that we meet. Sometimes they give us reason to pause, and we recognize that this person isn't really for my good. So and if you're not, and it's been said, you're either with me or you're against me. That. I know Brother Hall may say, no, it may just be indifferent. But,
Hey, Brother Ron.
Yes,
First of all, let me tell you this. I don't disagree with you. I agree with you 100%. First of all, I totally agree with your perspective. So I don't disagree with you. Here's my remedy for it, though. Because I got a remedy for that. Because
all right.
And let me explain to you why. Growing up in the industry, people knew me from one perspective. Mm-hmm. So when people know you from one perspective, they only see you in that mindset because that's their programming. You know what I'm saying? You program, and not say that we program to see you a certain way, but that's sometimes what happens. People have this mindset of how they see you. And so therefore, because they have this mindset, when you go beyond that, it makes them uncomfortable because they can't see you from that perspective. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that even those people have a useful place in our lives. The whole thing is, if I know that you're not gonna be all right with me, but you're good at your craft, thank you. If I know that you're gonna be, if you're not good with me in respect to my success, but you're good at your craft, I'm only gonna tell you about what I need from you at the time that I need it. If you understand what I'm saying. So, say for example, if I'm a singer and this dude who's kind of hating on me is a drummer, he needs to see my whole vision. All he needs to see is, yo, I'm hiring you for a gig. You feel me? This is the gig I'm hiring you for. Now, here's the thing. What you do on this gig will determine whether or not you get the next gig. You feel me? So now, if you're gonna come into the gig and do your job because you love doing your job, I'm gonna pay you and everything's great. But if you come into the job trying to sabotage my job, you cut it off your nose to spite your face. Because whether or not you like my trajectory, I'm still moving. I'm still going up, whether you come with me or not. So if you decide to destroy your situation because you don't like the growth that I'm making, that's on you. Not on me. But I did my job to bring you along with me. If you choose not to come, hey, sorry, I love you, but I gotta keep it moving. And on that, I yield.
I think that's a cultural difference, though. Culturally, what you're saying, I think culturally, most of us don't do that. If I can't trust you, then I'm not dealing with you at all. That's how we most of us, we rock like that. If I'm not cool with you, you can't play the drums on my track. No, we're not doing business together. Nothing. We dead to each other. However, I must say I've witnessed in other communities the saying that there's no such thing as permanent friends or permanent enemies. It's just permanent interests. So, which means it goes directly to what you just said, Brother Hall. You can have people who really don't get down like that together. They see there's an opportunity to work together for their own good, where they can both win. They tend to do it, but we, in our culture, we don't do that. Once we're done with somebody, or once they've shown us something that shows that they may not have our best interests at heart, we never do business with them again, ever, under any circumstances. We just, we'll lose a deal before we work with them. And I don't know why, but maybe we do need to start looking at things a little bit different.
And Brother Ryan, here's the interesting thing, and I'm glad we're having this conversation. And I'm gonna give you an example because you already spoke to it, but I'm gonna reiterate it. So, say for example, you are a carpenter, right? And you have a grocer in the neighborhood. You and the grocer don't see eye to eye. You and the grocer, in fact, y'all may not have complete different beliefs, but at the end of the day, that grocer is making sure you eat. And at the end of the day, you making sure that grocer has a nice house because you're a carpenter. So you think it would behoove you to say, you know what? I'm not going to eat because I don't like the grocer. Or are you going to say, you know what? Yo, he ain't got to know what I'm doing. All he needs to know is that I'm bringing him his money and I'm getting my groceries. I eat, he wins, and guess what? I don't got to know everything he's doing. But when he needs me, he calls and I'm getting his money. And so therefore, you know what? I'm serving his purpose, he's serving my purpose. That is what I'm talking about when we talk about placing principle before personality. See, because our personality is what's going to keep us broke. Placing principle before personality will keep us wealthy. And guess what? When we get to a place where we can find that network of people that we can trust, it's all the more beautiful. But the reality is, at the end of the day, if we place principle before personality, we all can win and we all can be healthy. And all that, I will. I yield.
Let me say this all city before he go. But you know what? But personality, our personality says, yeah, I got to eat. But you know what? I'm going to walk past his grocery store and going to walk 10 more blocks, if need be, to my own detriment, because I'm losing time. It may cost me $1 more, but rather than do business with him, which is going to be convenient, and it may be the better deal. I can't give him my support. So we walk, and that tends to be how we are. We cut our nose to spite our face sometimes.
But I think, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think that's only with us, though. That's only amongst us. Because we can go get disrespected by a different person and still go to their business, still help them out, still do all this, spend all that money. You see what I'm saying?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, we are quick. We are quick to cut off somebody that looks like us for perceived disrespect. Versus, especially in the smaller the business, the more often it happens. Somebody calls me as a lawyer and they feel that I didn't do the service that they provided. They're gonna down me forever. But a bigger firm, nah. You go to a small mom and pop's restaurant, your food was a little cold, you dogging them. You go to McDonald's, your fries are burnt. Guess what? You hit McDonald's again tomorrow.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You hit them again. You're not going to cut them off. So it does tend to seem like it's amongst us or amongst the small businesses, especially.
So why you that's what I'm saying. Why you think it's only our community we do this to? Like, what is it about just somebody that look like me that I do it to?
Hey, I like to speak to that.
Hold on.
When there's that running mindset of Black folks can't do business together, when you have that in the subconscious of your mind, you go into an interaction with the person expecting something wrong. You understand? And this is why, again, we have to be mindful of what we feed ourselves. We have to be mindful of who we're listening to. We have to be mindful of how we interact with each other. Because I'm going to tell you, every time folks start talking that nonsense about, we can't, Black people can't do business together, my first thing is like, you know what? What that means is chances are I'm not going to do business with you. Because I know, no, I'm serious, because I know that there's Black folks out here that I can do business with. How I know that? Because I'm doing business with Black folks every day.
Exactly.
Every day.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And you know what? There may come a point where there needs to be a meeting of the mind, meaning this. If you're used to doing things a certain way, and I'm saying, well, listen, in my business, this is my code of conduct. And if you want to do business with me, this is the code of conduct that you're going to have to honor. Then we've had a clear, specific conversation. So now, if you choose not to honor that, then that's outright disrespect. But if you are used to doing business a certain way, and I don't make my code of conduct clear to you, that's not your fault that we ain't doing business correctly. That's my fault because I didn't make it clear what I wanted. It's just like being in a relationship. You can't expect a good something from somebody if you don't make what your intentions are clear. It's our responsibility to make our intention and our understanding clear. And then at that point, we have to allow people to make an informed decision on whether or not they want to proceed forward. So it's not just about we can't do business. Nah, that's not it. We can do business. It's about how we choose to do business. And on that, I yield.
Do you expect that? Do you think that we expect more just from a person that look like us than the person that don't?
I think sometimes not only do we expect more, our expectations tend to be unreasonable sometimes.
Okay.
For instance, if you go and bid on a job city with your business, oftentimes you provide a quote. You say, this is what I'll do the service for. Some folks want to negotiate with you your price. They want to try to get you to lower your bid or whatever the case may be. However, sometimes when they're dealing with others, whatever the quote is, that's what it is. They accept it and rock with it and move on. They don't second guess it. They don't question it. They just accept it. Well, that's a fair quote, and I'll take it. And so, but when it tends to be a smaller business, a minority-owned business, we get a lot more negativity. We get a lot more, look out for a brother. We get a lot of other things, and then sometimes even when you meet that demand, then it's still not enough. So, I don't know why we do that, but it's a fact it happens.
Hey, Brother Ron, you know what? I'm going to speak to that.
What?
But I have learned, and I tell people this all the time. When I'm working with brothers, I tell them, the best way that I can show you that I respect your business is, number one, show you on time, pay you on time, and pay you what you ask. Now, if your price is beyond my expectations, then it's just like, hey, you know what? That's a little beyond where I am, so I guess I have to come back to you. But at the end of the day, I think for us as a people, the greatest respect that we can have for a brother and his or her business, and a sister in her business, is by paying them what they're worth, paying them what they're asking. And when we start asking brothers to take stupid discounts, what we're saying is, I don't value you, and I don't value your service. And on that, I yield.
Okay. All right. We got a couple minutes left. I don't know what to ask. Hey. So, all right. I don't know. We talked about everything I wanted to hit. Any questions out there? Make sure people like, comment, share it if you getting anything from this. If you like it, share it. Keep sharing it. My brothers, all right. Let's go. Do anybody want to, before we leave out, anybody want to say something?
I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and start too. The thing that I recognize is that we, when I say we, I'm talking about in our community, we tend to want things that we cannot afford, and we place value on things that are more expensive. And that's what Brother Hall was just speaking to. When we get something discounted, we don't appreciate it, we don't value it, and we take it as second best. If there's some designer, versus that's why designers, different manufacturers of things that are expensive, they charge their fee, they don't discount it, and either you get it or you don't. And the thing about those of us in our community, we figure out a way to go get it. We don't, when it's not discounted. They don't discount Rolex watches, but we go get them.
Exactly.
They don't discount, they don't, you don't even see commercials for Rolls Royce, but we go get it. Those things, are very pricey, but we don't look for the discount. In matter of fact, not only do we avoid looking for a discount, we brag about how much it costs.
Yes, yes.
We talk about how much we spend.
Yes.
So it's kind of like we associate, in some areas, we associate the higher price with a superior product that other folks can't get. And that's what we've got to change. We really got to look at things differently.
Yes.
You want to say something?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, sorry, I forgot my mic was on. I didn't realize it was on. So, you know what? You know what's interesting?
Go ahead.
And just speaking to what Brother Ron is saying. So if we brag about other people's stuff outside the community and how much it costs, yet still we're looking for a break in our own situation, which means we devalue our own situation. My question becomes this: if we're devaluing other people's stuff that look like us, are we really devaluing them, or are we saying, because you look like me and because I don't have much value in myself, I'm going to give you what I think I should give myself? Now, and the reason why I'm saying that is because when the programming is you know what, you're less than, you got to work twice as hard. You were slave and you got to do all of these things. See, we don't even realize that even today's modern programming by way of media, meaning this: every time we look at something where a black person is being disenfranchised, every time we look at something where a person is being disrespected or dishonored, here's the thing: What are we doing about that dishonor? Are we asking ourselves, you know what, why did that happen? And what can we do to make sure that doesn't happen anymore? Or are we just looking at it and saying, you know what, that's what I'm talking about. You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about, which reaffirms I devalue. Do you understand what I'm saying? See, because if a person is looking at it from a place of, you know what, see, this confirms, you know what, they did that to that person, they could do it to me, and so therefore, you know, I'm gonna not be my best self because I'm afraid that as I become my best self, somebody's gonna come and try to knock me down. Versus saying, yo, check this out. You see why that happened? Oh, wait a minute. You see that police brutality? The reason why that police brutality is happening is because, number one, that police officer or those police officers doesn't have a relationship with our community, number one. Number two, you know what? If we ran city council, which meant that we hired the police as well as the police chief, we would have a different relationship and they would come into the communities different. You understand? And so therefore, begin to understand that to some degree, we have control of our outcome or what experience is. When we begin to value ourselves, we begin to take on the responsibility of receiving and receiving that control and utilizing the control and utilizing our power. See, back in the day, maybe we didn't have the power, maybe. But even back in the day, there were some black folks that was out, there were slave owners, and there were slaves, and then there were slave owners. So all I'm saying is, you know, back in the day, there were folks that were already being liberated. There were folks that were becoming millionaires, even back in the time of slavery.
Yeah.
So the question is, it's not about what we see, it's how we see it. And on that, I yield.
Okay. All right. Before we wrap up, I'm gonna go around and ask, do y'all think it's too late for us to change how we think?
Go ahead, Brother Ron, you first.
When you say us, I don't think it's too late to change, but it has to be a conscious effort. And to start that conscious effort, first it must be shown. It must be shown that there's a problem in the way we perceive the world, the way we perceive each other, the way we perceive ourselves. And once we begin to recognize that, hey, maybe there's a problem, then and only then can you do something about it. So I think when we talk about it and make mention of these things, then at least then there's a chance to recognize that there's a problem, and then we can hope to do something about it. For instance, the reason I say that is I was just thinking about what we were just talking about, and I know friends. I have friends who have started businesses, believe it or not, and they didn't want people to know that they owned the business because they felt that the business would be undervalued by their peers if their peers knew who owned it. Now, it would be totally acceptable for that same person to go in and be a manager of that business, and people would support it, but they did not want their community to know who actually was the owner. And to me, that's indicative of the problem that we've been speaking on this whole podcast. So to answer your question, can we change? Absolutely. Let's continue talking about it. Let's draw attention to it. And then once we do that, then I think we can be on the road to recognizing that we do have a problem. That problem is us, and we need to take steps to correct it. With that, I yield.
All right. Brother Hart, what do you think about that? Can we change?
Yes, we can. In fact, I'm gonna go a step further. We've already started changing, baby. You know, see, here's the thing. It's like a person. It's like a person who don't recognize love. Why? Because they don't give themselves love. So here's the interesting thing. If you don't love yourself and you don't love your experience, when somebody comes to love you who understands love, it's going to make you uncomfortable because you're uncomfortable with that experience. You don't, in fact, you can't even see it. You can't even perceive it because they're not talking the way you used to talking. They're not moving the way you used to moving. They're not operating in certain ways that you used to. So yeah, can we change? People are changing. The question is, are we willing to be uncomfortable enough to make those changes?
Okay.
You understand? And not to be uncomfortable, are we willing to do the work to study, to know what it is that we need in order to make those changes? That's what it comes down to.
Okay.
You feel me?
I feel you. All right. Brother Ron, let's wrap this up. What's your final thoughts on this topic? Why we don't show each other love?
I can't do it in 10 seconds, so I'm just saying, let's show love. Let's show love. I see the producer. Show love.
Just show love. What about you, Brother Ron? Brother Harvey.
All I'm going to say is this. Yo, D, I don't love you. I love you, brother.
I love you, bro.
Brother
I love
Ron,
you.
I love
you.
Brother so I love you. That's all I'm saying. I'm you. Oh, by the way, I love me too.
All right. With that being said, all right, let's shout out some sponsors before we get out of here. Y'all hear the songs? All right, Crosby Legal, yes. All right, Life of Phoenix, yes. A Father's Vision, yes. A Tough Stuff Production LLC, yes. Then we got PM Prosperity LLC. Yes. Then we got Star City Cleaning LLC. Yes. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. Me and my brothers hope you continue the conversation with your brothers. Let's continue us in the comments. Let's like and share. Let's keep it all moving. Y'all know how we do. All right, we would like to salute you for watching. Thank you. All right, we'll be back in 2 weeks when we talk about showing love to our children directly. We're getting more love out. Ooh. Instead of telling everybody else, well, my kid do this. My kid awesome. Tell your own kid that. All right. With that being said, me and my brothers going to be out of here, but y'all know my motto. Walk in love and live in your blessing. All right, y'all later.